We all know 2020 has not been the best year for competitive Pokemon play, but it has been an amazing year for collectors and fans of the TCG. With organised play cancelled through to the end of the year, there is definitely something missing in the Pokemon TCG world. Enter sealed only Pokemon. Like many before me, such as Nim Nim, Revs, Fat Moose and Let's Play Pokemon, I'm going to dive into a unique and fun trading card challenge. On a budget of £30 an episode, I'll be trying to build a competitive Pokemon deck ready for the return of organised play. The catch? I can only use sealed official products to build my deck. That means no trading, no buying singles, and no easy way out. So with that in mind, let's crack some packs. Right, I know what you're thinking. Oh, another sealed only Pokemon challenge. Can't wait to watch someone else build up the Pikarom League Battle deck. No, alright, that's not what we're going to do here. The League Battle decks are fantastic, but as we've said before, this is the sealed only Pokemon challenge. And I feel like to really challenge ourselves, we've got to go back to our roots. And to do that, we've got to start this the same way I start every Pokemon game, by picking the water starter and building ourselves something out of these two Inteleon Theme Decks. Now I know this puts us a bit of a disadvantage, but I feel it's got to be the most authentic way to start a sealed only challenge with what is some of the most basic but solid products on the market in these theme decks. So we're going to crack them open, throw them together and build what can only be described as a god-awful deck. So let's see what's inside. Right, I've quickly sorted through the theme deck and we'll have a look at what comes in the sealed product. We've got 2 Inteleon, 3 Drizzile, 3 Sobble, 2 Dreadnought, 3 Tutel, 2-3 Kingler line, 2 support Cramorants and 2 support Mantines as our Pokemon in the kit. And then our trainers include 2 Pokékids, 1 Energy Switch, 4 Great Ball, 2 Switch, 3 Professor's Research, 4 Hop, 1 Pokégear, 2 Pokémon Catcher and 1 Ordinary Rod, as well as an excessive 18 energy. But wait, there's more. The theme decks only brought our budget this week to around £20, which left us enough budget to pick up these 2 double blister packs. So that's 2 packs of Darkness Ablaze, 2 packs of Rebel Clash, and huge shout out to Poketarge for hooking us up with these. I'll link his channel in the little eye icon. Let's see what we can supplement our deck with in this first episode. There's obviously a lot that we need, so let's get into it. There's going to be so much of me fast forwarding through packaging opening in this video. I think there's more that we need in Rebel Clash, so I'll start with the Darkness Ablaze. Darkness Ablaze is, I think there are a few I think I'll list things here that I'm looking for, but obviously we want the Crobat. Maybe Nurturing could help us. The breeder's nurturing thingy. I think that's all I can think of off the top of my head. Is Turbo Patch in this? Yeah, I think Turbo Patch is in this as well. Right, Mareep, Snubble, Tauros, Rookidee, Galarian Mr. Mime. I mean, we've got a lot of crap, so it could be useful right now. Fighting Energy, Simipour, Spikemuth, Birdkeeper. Birdkeeper's good. Birdkeeper's good. Reverse Dracozolt and Excavalier. Not good. Birdkeeper, I forgot about that. That's actually really handy. That will definitely be making it in. Another Mr. Mime. I forgot it was there for a second and got confused. Galarian Mr. Rhyme, Rhyme, I'll put him over there. Grimer, is that focus? Grimer, Clink, Skitty, Pansage, Lightning, Heat Energy, Simisear, Dark Trio. Just give me some water at least. Oh wait, I got confused. Morlul, Centiscorch, Remax. Alright, that is super cool, but not what we're looking for. Let me just get a little sleeve for that. Put him to the side. Awesome pull, but not helpful right now, unfortunately. Rebel Clash definitely has a lot more that we're after. Again, I'll just put a few examples here. I know we want Inteleon V, VMAX. There's obviously Boss's Orders. Oh god, I can't even think right now. There's quite a lot from this set that we're after. Sandygast, Roly-Coly, Stunky, Clefairy, Voltorb, Fire, Hatchram, Poké Ball, that could be handy. Lampent, Applin, and Ooh! I mean, at the moment, that's probably very good for us. Dubwool V could go in our deck. Because I'm not expecting... I honestly don't know how this deck's going to go. I obviously want to focus on water Pokemon, just because I'm a huge water Pokemon fan. However, having someone like Dubwool V sit in the active while we try and get the appropriate energy on our Pokemon would be really handy. Galarian Darumaka, I'll put him aside because he's water. Tano, Scyther, Nosepass, Energy, Luxio, Drakloak, Tranquil, Applin, and Clefable with some awesome art. But apart from that, not really any good to us. Darumaka won't be coming in. Dubwool V will definitely come into our deck, as will Poké Ball. I'll think about it. Birdkeeper, yes. Mr. Mime, again. I'll think about it. I'll throw these into the deck, show you what it is on PTCGO, and we'll go from there. So what we have here is the first iteration of our sealed only deck. It's you know, it's got room for improvement, that's for sure. We've got our core Inteleon line, which we'll use as one of our main attackers. We don't have a lot of firepower in this deck, so we are going to rely a little bit on A, coming up against fire decks and hitting for weakness, and B, having mild disruption in the form of Silent Shot and Hydro Snipe, which we also will have on our Kingler as well, with heavy pincers, being able to discard the top card of our opponent's deck. None of these are fantastic attacks, but we'll play with what we're given. We'll play with what we're given. Thankfully, we did open a Dubwool V, so that will give us time to get ourselves together. We don't have a lot of energy acceleration or the best card search, so Dubwool V will hopefully buy us time, if nothing else. And is a pretty good attacker when you consider that our opponent will have to take a lot of prizes to knock us out of the game, as Dubwool V is our only 2-prize Pokemon. Lastly, we have the one Mantine, which we'll use just to help find water energy in case we need it, and the one Cramorant as a low energy attacker who can snipe the bench if need be. Diving into our trainer cards, we start off with the channel's namesake Professor's Research, and this is without a doubt the best trainer card in the starter deck. Being able to dump our hand, draw 7 new ones, no matter your deck, is always a massive boon. On the other end of that spectrum, we still have 4 copies of Hop. Just because we need to draw as many cards as we can, with limited search options, we just want to draw. Speaking of draw, the one-off Bird Keeper that we drew is going into the deck. It's easily as good as Hop, however it has the ability to also switch us out of a tricky active Pokemon if we need to. Pokékid is in here reluctantly because I don't think this is a very good card, however our search leaves a lot to the imagination, so Pokékid stays in the deck for now. 3 switches, as to be honest I don't see a lot of our Pokemon surviving too long, so I don't know how much switching we're going to be doing, and a few of our Pokemon have a low retreat cost, so 3 switches and the Bird Keeper seems good. Poké Ball is a one-of just because I'm not overly keen on having to flip heads to be able to search out a Pokemon, but Great Ball is in at 4 because we have a lot of Pokemon in our deck and the odds are we'll find something we're looking for in the top 7. Same goes for Pokégear, however we don't have as many powerful supporters as we do Pokemon, so I've dropped that down to just 2. Energy Switch should help us out if it looks like we've invested our energy into the wrong Pokemon, and quite a few of our Pokemon have high energy costs, so this seems like a must at the moment. Ordinary Rod on the other hand is just to help us out if we lose any key Pokemon from Professor's research or if they're KO'd too early. Finally, 2 Pokémon Catcher is in there to slow down our opponents, as hopefully we can put something that they're not powering up into the active spot and buy us some time. And that's it, that's our deck. Only thing to do now is take this bad boy into the ladder and see how it goes. Game 1 started as best as we can hope, winning the coin toss and coming up against a fire-based deck. Our starting hand, however, consisted of nearly all the card draw in our deck, so after dumping it and drawing 7 more with Professor's research, we found ourselves a Dubwool V and a healthy amount of ball search. Finally, we retreated into our Dubwool V and passed the turn. Unfortunately, our opponent's fire deck did exactly what fire decks meant to do, with a welder attach plus 2 Volcanion on the bench. Now on a clock, we decided to power up our Kingler on the bench, ready for the inevitable demise of our best sheep pal. Our opponent, however, had the fateful boss's orders to KO our Crab, which led to a swift string of KOs as we failed to find a foothold in the game. Game 2 was a longer affair, starting again with Dubwool V in the active position. We this time came up against a Rowlet Eggs deck. Both first turns were rather uneventful for our opponent and I, allowing me to switch into Mantine and source the water energy that had been eluding me so far this game. My opponent either had a specific plan in mind or bricked his hand again as he attached and passed, allowing me to further build my bench and return Dubwool to its active position, ready to be hit next turn. Professor's research saw me find a switch for the Mantine once more, sacrificing it to the tag team Pokemon across the field to minimise the prizes lost. Sure enough, we lost the Mantine, but only after our opponent benched a Rillaboom V. I decided to promote the Inteleon over Kingler as I could slow down the progression on the other side of the board, as well as putting damage counters on the Rowlet and Exeggutor, increasing Kingler's effectiveness later. Our opponent's deck continued to fail him, allowing us to eventually get the KO, taking 3 prizes, and honestly a huge ego boost at this point. Rillaboom V started to fill our opponent's bench, but a fateful heads on Pokémon Catcher allowed us to take advantage, gusting up the low HP Rowlet for a KO with our Inteleon. This proved to be the nail in the coffin for our opponent, who conceded and gave us our first win in the series so far. Our third game of the day started with a very uneventful 2 Krabbies and pass, but on our opponent's turn, I got to see what I think is one of the coolest tag team arts I've ever seen. It didn't take long for the Lucario and Melmetal to enter the active spot and start applying pressure, which led to probably a huge mistake in hindsight. I wanted to minimise losing prizes early and decided to rescue my Krabby from certain death by switching to Dubwool V to tank. In my distraction by the art, I forgot to remind myself what Luke Metal's ability entails, although my opponent swiftly reminded me by stripping my Dubwool of all his energy, which was my only attached on the field. I gravely overestimated the usefulness of my Kingler and should have instead allowed a few prizes to be taken, powering my Dubwool V's attack while he was safe on the bench. While our sheep did survive, I had fallen too far behind due to this misstep and just couldn't regain any ground, eventually losing out to his Copperajah VMAX. Our last game, Game 4, was probably my closest of the day, facing up against what appeared to be another powered up starter deck with Surf Fetched. This deck was actually the other contender I was considering for this series before settling on the old favourite Sobble. Our opponent took the first prize of the game by gusting up one of our weakened Sobbles, but we returned in kind, KOing his Surfetched with our mighty Kingler, who swiftly took a second prize. While trying to power up our Inteleon on the bench as a second attacker, we made a vital error. Through an absolutely devastating misclick, we played Energy Switch rather than Great Ball, moving the energy we just placed on Inteleon over to Drizzile, and prayed that we drew into another water energy before we had to promote our Inteleon. Failing that next turn, we sent up our Krabby for sacrifice and used Great Ball to thin the deck of Pokémon. Finally, we top deck a water energy and ultimately trade one of our Inteleons for our opponent's Stonjourner. However, our opponent begins to build up a Hippopotas on the bench and we miss another attach for turn. We managed to KO a Surfetched that was put up for sacrifice, and when our Inteleon was knocked out in response, there was just nothing less than our bench to put up a fight. Our opponent took an extremely well fought game, and GG. In some ways this first week has gone considerably better than I could have imagined. I had no way anticipate getting a win week 1, but our boy Sobble has delivered and I am impressed. However, on our end there has been a lot of misplays, some through the client, more through us not knowing how the deck handles, but ending this first episode on 1 win and 3 losses makes me very hopeful for the future. Going forward there's a lot that we need to work on, there is a lot missing from our decks. So for week 2 we've got to focus on one of 2 things. We either need to build up our consistency or try and dig and search for some big hitters that will actually make our deck a threat. To that end, I think our options for episode 2 are either the fantastic Trainer's Toolkit, which will give us some amazing supporters, as well as 2 Dedenne GX, which, let's face it, is the real best card in format. Sorry ADP. Or we could choose to pick up some Inteleon V tins to secure ourselves our first Water V cards. It may not be the strongest, but it will lead us towards trying to eventually get the Inteleon V Max, which is definitely part of our endgame plan. Speaking of endgame, during the editing of this video, Pokemon announced the Play Pokemon Team Challenge. While a tournament win isn't something I'm expecting to pull off anytime soon, using this could be a fantastic way to test and push ourselves with a goal in mind. So with that as our goal, it would be great to hear from you guys in the comments down below what you think I should open in episode 2. Do you think we should go for consistency and open up the Trainer's Toolkit, or shall we add Inteleon V to our deck with the fantastic Inteleon V tins? If you like what you've seen so far, please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe so you don't miss episode 2. But until then, keep on cracking packs.